Let's have a look at the grid then for the Minimax 950 final. Very high quality grid, lots of experience in this one and very close racing throughout the weekend so far. Albert Friend has been the driver to beat. Strawberry Racing's 191 starts on pole position. Cole Denham for DHR forms up the other side of the first row of the grid. Charlie Wolford was superb in the pre-final earlier on today. The Synergy Racing Synergy Factory team driver starts P3. Joshua Griffin is alongside, and that's an all Synergy row 2. Will Green, heard from him a few moments ago, starts on the third row of the grid alongside Jacob Ashcroft. That's Argenti Motorsport 5th and DHR in 6th place.
Noah Barham and Daniel Minto, they go from row 4. Albie Lapper and Ellis Bell, good run for him. He starts this one on the P10 spot on row 5. Isaac Barker and Charlie King, they round out the top 12.
Moving into the mid part of the grid, Jarlath Sayer and Oliver Meek form up an all Synergy row number 7. Another Synergy driver on row 8 in the form of Luca Holmes-Ballack. Expect to see Luca flying through the order in this one. Has had some good pace so far this weekend. Alex Goodson also on row 8. Tom Reed and Jack Collinson go from row number 9.
John Richardson and Blair Smith on row 10. Stanley Clark and Keane Stewart on row 11. Isabella Stansmore-Wilson and Kai Clark round out row number 12. And the final row of the grid, Benjamin Lawn and Sebastian Lusch round out the 26 kart field. Like we saw earlier on with the pre-final, this was a final and that was dry. Yeah. Now it's wet.
Very much not dry.
Yeah, this is going to be a race.
Is indeed. So the field in formation now. I'll go around paddock corner and then wait for the instruction to see whether we are good for a go here. 15 minutes on the clock here at Warden Law for the 4th final in the Minimax 950 category this year, and we are good and green, racing down to turn 1 in these wet conditions. All kinds of lines, and Albert Friend's not had a good start there, and round the outside has gone Cole Denham into the lead of the race through Brian's Bend for the first time, heading through the dogleg. At least one driver's had a small moment in the middle of the pack, but apart from that, Anthony Jordan, that is a pretty good start in very tough conditions for our Minimax drivers.
Very tough conditions, because again, this is the first time they've had wet conditions since, yesterday and the day before that. Spin in the mid-pack as round goes the 149.
Jarlath Sayer.
Yeah, that's not been a start he will have wanted, and Sayer tumbles down the order now, and he'll have to fight his way back through the field. That is a big, big shame for him. Drivers now make their way out of the back chicane up into Gasworks for the first time then. And again, big chunk of taking the inside line there and taking the outside line as well. Lots of drivers taking the wet line, and another driver going straight on into the tyre barrier.
Tom Reed.
Yeah, and that's a huge disaster for Reed.
Yeah, Tom Reed in the 136. It's been an ever-present so far this season. The other challenge for the drivers versus what we saw for the Honda cadets, of course, there's been a bit of a break in the action. No karts going around the circuit to clear any more water falling from the sky and onto the circuit. Means that I think conditions are a little bit worse than they were for the Honda cadets. Let's see what the pace is like here on the second lap. Albert Friend trying to fight back here down the inside, takes 4th place. I don't know whether it was just a case that he bogged down off the start, but it seems he just got swamped from pole position. There's a bit of a moment there. Going down the inside was the 195 of Charlie Wolford, who I think also got 3rd because Joshua Griffin took the wider line there. Back comes Albie Friend into 3rd place. A lot has happened there through the Senna S on lap number 2, and it's emerged with Albie Friend back up to 3rd place.
Yeah, that's a very interesting run for it there, but Friend now in a good spot to now catch up to the drivers in front, Denham and Ashcroft, because remember, championship in this one still pretty close. These drivers will have to watch out for it as the whole field, look at that battle there, the whole pack just barreling in to that midsection.
Kai Clark is absolutely flying. You just saw him there in the 176 going down the inside. He's gained 15 positions.
Wow.
And more now. That's going to be more 16, 17 positions in 2 laps. He's doing a stunning bit of work. 5-second penalty, though, Anthony, for the driver currently in 6th place, Luca Holmes-Ballack, is going to lose at least that 6th place once the race ends if he doesn't clear a 5-second gap to everybody behind.
No, exactly that. And he's had a good run as well. He's up 9 positions in this race. But yeah, right now he's going to have to work just that little bit harder. Look at the train there as the drivers make their way through. There's Charlie Wolf. Again, look at the difference in racing line there that we're seeing from these drivers. The tighter inside line, but you've got to watch it on the exit. And there again, proof that you can just get the drive out of the corner with that wider line. So again, it's always beneficial to go down the inside. But right now, it's just not going their way with these treacherous conditions, because right now it's the worst it could possibly be for the drivers. It's not fully saturated, but it is wet, and these tyres just aren't working as they should do, really.
It's where setup and the work of the mechanics becomes so important in these conditions. You'll see that the karts, the chassis are going to be set up a bit softer with the outboards as well, a lot more raising of the rear inside tyre on it, particularly through Senna number 1. This is what I say, where the mechanics and the teams really earn their bread in a race like this. At the front of the order, it's a DHR 1-2, Cole Denham and Jacob Ashcroft, separated by 0.21 of a second. Third place for Albert Friend there for Strawberry Racing. Charlie Wolfett, currently the fastest and highest running of any of the Synergy drivers, there in 4th.
Exactly that. So, right now, it falls down to what these drivers can do. So, just over 10 minutes to go in this race. We're watching here the battle a little further down in the order. Isaac Barker at the moment trying to attach himself to Charlie King. Charlie King doing a good job of holding that position. This is 7th and 8th on circuit. Kai Clark, who we were just talking about, you know, with the several positions gained, is starting to close in as the battle for the race lead is now starting to heat up. Change for it as Cole Denham and Jacob Ashcroft trying to go wheel to wheel. Ashcroft hinting that he wants the lead of this race. He did get the lead for about 0.2 of a second before Cole Denham retook that position. Back across the line they go, and Ashcroft now, I think, wants another attempt at this one. But they'll have to be careful, because what happened last time around, it closed the field in once more. Albert Friend closed in, Wolfett closed in, everyone else closed in between this battle, and that might happen now. There's still 10 minutes to go and them already starting to battle. That could happen.
1:10's currently the pace for those at the front of the field. Few changes in the mid-pack. Noah Barham and Blair Smith have both got past Oliver Meek. Albie Lapper has also got past Oliver Meek. So that's 12th, running down to 15th spot now. Also, Daniel Minto, who's impressed me this weekend, has been able to raise his way through orders so far here at Warden Law in other races. Well, he's just gained 18th place off of Alex Goodson. Less than 10 minutes to go on the clock. Still plenty of time for this one to sort itself out. Jacob Ashcroft taking that different line there, Anthony. Trying to get the drive off the corner. But Cole Denham now going for what we saw in the Honda Cadet race. That line wasn't really working. But now Jacob Ashcroft has found a way through. No, saying that's a very provisional thing to say, because here comes Cole Denham back. Slots into the slipstream. New race leader, Jacob Ashcroft.
Yeah, exactly that. Gets it done. Again, look at those different racing lines there. Ashcroft taking the really wide line there through turn 1. Denham holding the inside line. And again, for both of them, it does seem to just be working, because that outside row, you cut back in, but then you've got to be careful that you don't go onto that grassy area on the outside. You've got to then bring it back over the racing line, which then slides you back across the other side. So if you do take that normal line, you can be off the line through the second sector, and it just closes itself back up when you get into dogleg.
And particularly if you're with another driver who's doing the opposite, the risk is there's a meeting point in the middle there when you're right on the edge of adhesion. A little bit of weather window watch. I would say, Anthony, that the weather is at least... I'm not seeing fresh raindrops on our windows, so at least the rain is reduced in its intensity out there. Albie Friend is not happy about something there in 3rd place, with Charlie Wolfett just behind. They're both trying to close in on Ashcroft and Denham at the moment with 8 minutes to play.
And I think they somewhat are, but look at that. Ashcroft is starting to break away now. No, they're not closing in at all. No, I'm going to eat my words there again. The gap's open up to now over 2 seconds. So there we go. Ashcroft now breaking away from Denham. That gap now over half a second. A little bit wide there for Benjamin Lawn, who crosses the line. Lawn's having a good race, though. Side by side just at the background there. The 136 and the 132 having a good scrap as well. That's Tom Reed and John Richardson. scratches and still making his way through the field as well. He's not had the best run on this one. He's dropped 5 position. There's been a big change in the order in this one, hasn't there? There's been lots of drivers dropping down. There's been lots of drivers making several positions up. And again, maybe it's just being at the back. They've been able to see what's been happening up in front and just try and utilise, you know, the track conditions maybe, and just see, right, that didn't work for him when he went through like that, so I'm going to try this.
Yeah, do something different
and
see how that pans out. 7 minutes to go. Also good to see that Tom Reed, after that spin in the early stage of this race, another example of a driver getting back on circuit, not giving it up. There's things to be gained in the remaining time on the clock, particularly here in what has been a very competitive Minimax 950 category. What's this all doing for the championship situation? This another category that will be culminated at PF International in around a month's time. Well, at the moment, this would leave us with a tantalisingly close situation with Cole Denham on 743, a tie on 741 between Albert Friend and Jacob Ashcroft, which on countback is currently going the way of Albert Friend. The long and short of it, Anthony, is it's a gap between 3 drivers, which is less than the delta in points between finishing first and second in a race like this.
Yes. Yeah. Looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
That's going to be a close one. Yeah. And again, at PFI, that's going to be a different kettle of fish because it's all going to be about slipstream.
Yeah.
What did we see earlier on in the dry conditions with these drivers? They were all slipstreaming, they're all pushing each self along, and it's very easy to overtake at PFI. Several overtaking opportunities, and the same here at Gasworks as these two going wheel to wheel here as Wolfit sends it back down the inside and is defending from Joshua Griffin. Griffin trying to find his way through. Albert Friend has dropped these two here. As Jack Collins sees a 5-second time penalty for this one. He will not enjoy seeing that one. But yes, Luke Holmes-Ballack, they're just trying to defend from Joshua Griffin, not able to get it done just for the time being. He's starting to break away from it now. So despite Joshua Griffin's best efforts there, will drop back just that little bit.
But we should remember as well that Luca Holmes-Ballack has a 5-second penalty from the early stages of this race. So it's not all bad news for Joshua Griffin in that mix. Here, back once again with the 174. This is Charlie King. I had a very brief chat with Charlie and his dad during the lunch break. And again, I've been impressed with Charlie and his work this weekend. Has gained 5 places so far in this race and is also at the moment holding off the very fast starting Kai Clark, who is now, I can say he's gained 16 places in this race, but he's finding things tough to try and get away through past the Coles Racing driver there in front.
No, exactly that. Still 4.5 minutes to go, though. Long old train of karts still forming all the way around this track. But your top 4 relatively spread out right now. I am curious about what's happening between Cole Denham and Albert Friend. The battle for second place has closed down to 1/10 of a second. So the battle for second, I think, is something that I'd very much like to have a look at. Here it is, yes. It has closed in. Wolfit's closed right in as well. So this is the battle for second place. And there has been a slight change here. Albert Friend has got into second place. Denham's down into third. And now Charlie Wolfit's going to try and go for third place. And he does go for third place. He's got the inside line. But again, that outside drier line works. The wet line. You take that one, you can get the drive out of the corner. And Cole Denham holds on to that one.
Beautifully positioned by Cole Denham there, just held the inside line. You can stay tight in these conditions through Senna 2. The natural dry racing line, you run out wide and sweep through towards the back chicane. Back comes Wolfit on Denham now. Really crucial part of this race now for Albert Friend. I think in all honesty, he needs a mistake of something from Jacob Ashcroft to close in that 5-second gap. But if he can take second place in this race, it's going to be important points in that championship picture, so much so that actually I think, yes, he is. He's going to take the virtual lead championship here. That moves him 2 points further forward to 7.43. He's no longer tied with Jacob Ashcroft, who in this race can score no more than 741 points. Cole Denham, though, he becomes the driver now on equal points with Ashcroft. It's pretty much as we still were. It's less than 3 points covering the top 3, but more importantly for Friend, it's now him at the front of the virtual championship order.
Yes, exactly that. So still a close fight to be had right now, and going into PFI. 2.5 minutes left on this one. Rain subsiding, Track conditions still the same though, very greasy, very slippery. And these drivers still doing what they need to do. And look at that, turning in, it didn't grip, then it did grip, then it didn't grip. It was just, it's so horrible to drive in these conditions. I don't know how on earth these drivers are doing so well to battle, not only on quick pace, but also so close with each other as well.
Yeah, well, what we're seeing here is the best Minimax 950 drivers in the country. And a number of drivers who've come up through the ranks in previous years. So our drivers in this category, ages ranging from 10 to 13 years old, but I mean, some of them will have been racing for more than half their lives. There's a lot of experience on this grid, both at a British Kart Championships level and higher into the international level as well. And they are putting on quite a show here in the final at Warden Law. 90 seconds to go, Anthony. It's looking like Jacob Ashcroft's to lose. He's the fastest driver on circuit. He's the only driver in the 1:09 9s out there. He's been supreme in this race. Yeah,
pace of his own at the moment, and just doing exactly what he needs to do. As a warning flag going out to Daniel Minto. Yeah, like you say, he's done exactly what he's needed to do over the course of this one. And right now, these two still going side by side. Wolfit's not giving up on taking this position from Cole Denham. Cole Denham still having to defend on this one. But yeah, you bang on there with Ashcroft, league of his own in this one, driving away. Look at the gap, 5.8 seconds. You can't ask for anything better for him.
No, and especially that he's not had an easy weekend. You know, 6th in the pre-final. He's had to fight back. He's cleared his mind fantastically in this race, and that's what's put him on top for me. Bit of news elsewhere in the top 10. Kai Clark has found a way past Charlie Kings. That's 17 positions now for Kai Clark gained in this race. I think there's also unfortunately been a problem out there for Daniel Minto, because you can see the 1, 2, 8 falling down the order on our timing screens. Not a long amount of time to go now, 20 seconds and counting for the Mini Max 950 category. Are we going to see a move here from Charlie Wolford, who's been trying to find a way in a line that works against Cole Denham? But at the moment, Cole Denham still holds on to that 3rd place.
No, exactly that. 1 second left to go. Timer strike 0. Last lap board will be out this time then to Jacob Ashcroft, who is making his way to the start-finish line now out of the final corner. But right here now, Albert Friend still holding on to 2nd place. There goes Jacob Ashcroft across the line. He sees the last lap board. Changes there, and going wide, there's Isabella Stansmore-Wilson, currently in 26th place, just getting out of the way. Good driving by her to not get involved in these battles at the front, because that can be a real surprise to someone who's just driving around in their own race, and then all of a sudden the race leaders are coming through and you've got to move.
Yeah, especially in these conditions.
Yes.
In dry conditions, it's a lot more straightforward. You pull over, you know it's going to be... You know what underneath is going to be. If you move off the racing line, either of the racing lines, the dry or the wet racing line, you could get yourself having a bit of a moment, but everybody dealing with that well. Still very much Friend at the front of this 3-way scrap for 2nd place, but Cole Denham's done some good work over the last lap or so. It's got a bit of a gap back to Charlie Wolford. Here is your race leader, Jacob Ashcroft. Started on the 3rd row of the grid, but has mastered these damp conditions round Warden Law. He leads by 7 seconds. Once again, like we said with the seniors final, this is not how I thought that the Mini-Max final was going to turn out. But here at Warden Law, it is a win for Jacob Ashcroft, and a huge result heading towards PF International for the finale of this championship. He will be in the mix. 2nd place for Albert Friend, and on the provisional virtual championship scores will take the championship lead to PFI, but by 2 points and 2 points only. 743 over 741. 3rd for Cole Denham. He will also be in the title picture in a month's time, also on 741 points. 2 DHR runners on the podium, and Synergy Factory team can be happy with those results as well. Charlie Wolford, the first of 4 drivers home from 4th down to 7th place. Luca Holmes-Ballack, we should note as well, though, Luca Holmes-Ballack has a 5-second penalty from earlier in that race. Joshua Griffin, 6th on the road. Kai Clark, what a drive there from Kai Clark. That's at least something to be happy about. It's had a tough weekend, has done probably more overtaking than any driver out there in any class this weekend. Finishes 7th on the road, gained 17 positions in that final. 8th for Noah Barham. 9th for Isaac Barker. 10th for Will Green. Albie Lapper, Blair Smith, Charlie King, Ellis Bell, all finished inside a top 15 that's completed by Stanley Clark. Alex Goodson was 16th, Oliver Meeks 17th. Sebastian Lusch, good number of positions gained there by Sebastian from the back of the field, finishes 18th. Benjamin Lawn gained 6 in that one and finishes inside a top 20 completed by Daniel Minto. Jalasea, Jack Collinson, Tom Reed, John Richardson, Kieran Stewart all had issues out there. In the top 25, Isabella Stansmore Wilson completes the order in 26th place. But it is Jacob Ashcroft who takes victory here in Minimax 950 from Warden Law. And I say, whilst not a complete maximum score from this weekend, so the difficulties finished 6th in the pre-final, that is put him right in the mix. Just to remind you, 2 points cover the top 3 heading to PF to culminate that season. That is going to be one that definitely goes to the bitter end, and one you can watch here on Alpha Live.
We turn our attention now to the Mini Max 950 category, race 25 of the weekend, but still a very exciting final. Please welcome onto the podium after 14 laps of racing, the number 162 from Dan Holland Racing, Cole Dedham. Another fantastic result for Cole, dropping down 1 position after starting P2, but still getting on to that podium. A solid result for him. 60 championship points added to him. In 2nd position, representing Strawberry Racing after 14 laps of racing as well, the number 191. Huge round of applause for Albert Friend. Albert also dropping 1 position, but still a good result, finishing P2. Good result, don't get hit by the podium. Thank you very much, Albert. And then finally, your race winner, with a gap of over 7 seconds at the checkered flag. Please welcome the English champion in Mini Max after gaining several positions, Jacob Ashcroft. And please welcome onto the podium as well as winning mechanic if he stops taking photos, Barry Ashcroft. Get up here, lad. We'll take photos of you. Top work, as always, by the team. And a huge result as well. The championship again getting ever closer with only one more round to go at PFI. The photos get taken. Big smiles on the podium. Well done, guys. And again, please, a huge round of applause for your Minimax 950 finalists.